Friends, after the inaugural session, we are ready to deep dive into this TiEcon, where we talk about how do you navigate through these turbulent times. And who better than Pravin Gandhi to talk to young entrepreneurs whom he has been guiding them on this. Friends, I request Pravin Gandhi to please come on stage. Pravin Gandhi is not unknown to any of us here. He was here with us last year. We have always been seeking his mentorship and guidance. Pravin Gandhi is one of India's first venture capitalists and with more than 35 years of experience in both operational and entrepreneurial experience in the IT industry. He was the founder of Hinditron, which later we know became digital equipments and then became then was taken over. After that, he also is on board of many IT companies, including Kale Consultants, Microland. He also started one of the India's early funds called Seed Fund, which encourages young entrepreneurs, people with the entrepreneurial instinct, and guides them into the different areas of entrepreneurship. Pravin Gandhi is currently the trustee of TiEcon, of TI Mumbai, and is also on the board of SIGN, IIT Mumbai in incubators. Today, along with Pravin Gandhi, we have three young entrepreneurs whom I'm sure you have heard of somewhere, know of them, but it's our privilege to have them with us. First among them is Mohit Dubey. May I request Mohit to please come on stage. I'm sure most of us here know about his website, carwale.com. I can tell you for myself, I have done my research for buying at least the last two times I bought a car using the expertise which Mohit and his team could provide us with. Mohit is an MBA. After spending about 3 years with a startup, took entrepreneurial plunge. First, he started an industry in the area of telemedicine to remote villages. Post that, he ventured into customized software delivery. After that, he came up with this whole software of creating car dealership, which led to carwale.com. Today, carwale.com is not only the #1 car portal which empowers car consumers to research and buy their cars, but it also has served more than 10,000 million Indian car consumers and influenced more than 3 billion car transactions in India. Friends, we have with us Mohit Dubey. Another young entrepreneur, a BITS Pilani electrical engineering graduate in a business which all of you have been hearing about in the business of transportation, but with a difference. It's my pleasure to welcome Phanindra Sama. Phanindra is the founder and CEO of Redbus. Redbus is India's first online bus ticketing booking service. Started in 2005, Redbus is the largest online booking bus ticketing service in India with more than 350 operators and more than 5,500 routes. Booking convenience over the internet, booking over the mobile, booking over confirmations over the SMS is something which in India, bus service, which was such heterogeneous in India, has really been revolutionized by him. Pleasure to have Phanindra with us. The third among the three young entrepreneurs here with us is Saumil Majmudar. I'm sure some of those here who were here last for the last TiEcon 2 would remember Saumil and the experiences he shared. Saumil, a graduate from IIT Bombay, was always passionate about sports, and hence after starting many different entrepreneurial ventures, he claims that he's risen through the phoenix by coming through many different ventures, started his venture EduSports. EduSports believes that healthier and fitter children equipped with key skills can make a difference to the country. With this simple philosophy, he started this venture EduSports. Saumil, his sport loving and he was an excellent sportsman himself. He was in the Maharashtra badminton team and IIT Bombay football team too. I hand over this session to Pravin bhai to let us know how these three young entrepreneurs have been riding these turbulent times. Thank you.
Good morning. But coffee के बाद बहुत ठंडे हो गए लगते. You didn't get any coffee. I didn't. Anyway, the original, I think the title of this talk was, or this conversation was about the qualities CEO should have to ride through turbulent times. I think now we have some thunderstorm or something like that. I think, we keep talking about turbulent times. Last year, Mumbai did its entrepreneurial summit, and they called it Dancing in the Rain. And every day we open a newspaper, it reminds us of the turbulent times that we live in. So in my mind, I think that this turbulent time, I think perhaps, is now become normal times. Unlike perhaps earlier turbulent times which lasted for a little while, 2 years, and the economic cycles revived, I believe this turbulent times are going to be longer. Just to be clear that this is turbulent times as created by the environment. There are no tips for turbulent times created by the entrepreneur himself. Because we are assuming that the CEO knows how to run a business. Like, for example, I think the very good example about creating your own turbulence is perhaps Dr. Vijay Mallya. And you can't sympathize with him because he has, I happen to believe that he has created his own turbulence, and obviously the environment added additional turbulence to his unhappiness. And there are, and if you look at or interpret some of the qualities he has and so on and so forth, and this is not about Dr. Mallya as much as I think there are many others, that there are some qualities that perhaps he is lacking in order to navigate through turbulent times. So what I'm going to do today, just to share one thought that, there are no permanently good CEOs. It just happens that, more than half the companies that were industry leaders no longer existed in 1990, but more than 2/3 of the 1990 industry leaders no longer existed in 2004. So this is a very, very dynamic area where you have to be continuously on your toes to manage different challenges in the environment. So, what I'm going to try to do today, that I must disclose that these three gentlemen are funded by Seed Fund. And the only people I could find to come here at a short notice were these guys. That is the power of a venture capitalist. They make you dance. So my purpose in, we hear theory, we look at American experiences and so on and so forth, but there is a specific Indian context that I think is perhaps closer to our environment. I think some of the questions that people were asking Ashok in the morning as to how do you do this, how do I change this country, or how do I change the environmental, and these answers are very difficult to find because there are just too many moving items in this country. I think the only way perhaps that may happen over time, that we figure out how to change our political structure. If that happens, hopefully more honest people enter politics, enter bureaucracy, and we all learn not to be dishonest. Then only it will work, because I think it has become an ethos. While we sit on our in our chairs and complain about corruption elsewhere, many of us also, I mean, I'm sure everybody here is honest, but outside follow some dishonest practices or others. And, there are people who make their business model, business plan based on how they're going to influence some decision makers and make $2 out of it. So anyway, coming back to, looking at some research and some of my thoughts, I came up with some qualities that that I believe CEOs should have, and I'm going to throw these up for discussion with because some of these may sound very esoteric but are difficult to implement, so on and so. I will let these guys tell you whether they agree, and if so, how do they do this in the actual context, or it's lots of high sounding words, but it cannot be done. So let me start, and whosoever thinks he has an answer can raise their hand, and if more than two have an answer, I am happy to hear their. So one of the key qualities I believe that a CEO must have to navigate through turbulent times or through thunderstorm is to create a vision and share it amongst its team. That the company must have a shared vision. That is the belief system of the CEO and the team that makes it all work must have a common vision, and which will bring the passion theoretically to help him navigate through difficult times. So, may I start with whoever? So, is this something that you believe is valuable, and if so, how do you go about doing this? And this is specifically, you may have tried this in your companies. I know Saumil was telling me that in the difficult times, the team has come together more than perhaps before to make things happen, and they are finding new ways to do things. So Saumil, you want to start?
Broad vision called we want to get kids to play, and then in that vision, in hindsight, this is not by strategy, this is really by serendipity, that we said that's what we want to do, and in hindsight, that very broad canvas gave us a lot of room to keep trying different models. So you could do a ground, you could do infra, you could do a bunch of stuff. In the specific context that Pravin is referring to, we went through some turbulence in terms of financing and stuff like that. And what we found was, and we also had some turbulence when we started working with schools, where we frankly didn't know how to work with schools. We just wanted kids to play, but we had no clue what it takes to work with a school environment and the issues around it. And that created a lot of issues internally. Two things, I think what worked was, we kept saying, yes, we have a problem with the principal, yes, we have a problem with the parent, yes, we have a problem with the PT master, but we are here to get the child to play. So the moment we were able to refocus the team on the real end goal, and then these became, pains that they are willing to go through. Because the end goal, the end vision, if you will, to use Pravin Bhai's words, was big enough for the team. And even now, when we had some turbulence, I think what happened was, because the team believed in this large vision of making an impact and building a business, of course, the problems, it actually became a binding force where it's almost like we are being attacked from outside. And so we as a team need to be a lot more cohesive. And it kind of helped significantly from our side. So I think I agree definitely that the vision is a key goal. And I think maybe having a vision which is not too narrow, which gives room for yourself or for the team to kind of maneuver, given that you will have a bunch of things being thrown at you, is a key parameter in my view.
So in our case, basically our story is we started because I couldn't get a bus ticket and we thought we'd solve that problem. So when we came in together, we said, okay, there's this technology solution, and then let's give it to all the bus operators out there, and customers would come and the travel agents would come and start making the reservations. So that's how we started, and hence we didn't have this the vision statement. I mean, if there was any vision statement, that was this: that okay, let's solve this problem. Let's get technology to work in this industry. Then, particularly in the turbulent times, so I was just reflecting on bigger, which means the valuation went up. So we said, okay, let's postpone it till the last minute so that we can raise money at a much higher valuation. Then suddenly, all of a sudden, without any notice, Lehman Brothers collapsed. Then suddenly we were also running out of money. So we went to all the VCs who had come to us. When we went there, none of them were willing to write checks. And then we were in a great trouble. Then somehow somebody took a larger look at the whole environment, and then he said he'll write a check to us. But he said the valuation will be lower than the previous round or something like that. Valuation will be much lower. Whereas the company has grown multiple times from the previous round, the valuation of the company will be lower. And that, for us, either you take that or you just drop it, right? And we had no other option because there is no other VC who wanted to invest. So we just raised the capital at whatever terms they gave us and etc. But what happened after that is the whole team and the organization went through a huge turbulence. Until then, it was all fine. Everybody was thinking, oh, we're doing fine and etc. And suddenly, when we got this valuation, which was lower than the previous round, everybody, especially the senior management who has ESOPs and etc., everybody is like, are we doing the right thing? If you're doing the right thing and the company is growing, why do we get lower valuation? Everybody knows that it's a macroeconomic thing, but still they have their own doubts because they're betting, they're taking lesser salary than they would otherwise take. This thing at stake, the fortune and everything is at stake. And whatever you say, people don't believe. And that was a very difficult time for me because people would give resignations and business also not doing all that well because everywhere there is slowness. People otherwise who would travel discretionarily 2 times in a month now